Welcome to The Table, brought to you by Cameron Mitchell Restaurants. I'm Bob McElligott, joined today by Blue Jackets President of Hockey Operations and General Manager Don Waddell and former Blue Jackets great Rick Nash. We're today at Butcher and Rose in downtown Columbus, and our subject today, gentlemen, is to talk about Olympic hockey, because both of you have a lot of experience with the Olympics in different roles. And the first thing I want to ask you, though, is just returning to the Olympics after so many years of the National Hockey League not being a part of it. How excited are you? Do you worry at all about any injuries that could happen along the way? But just overall, how good is this for the game?
I think it's tremendous. You know, we're building off the Four Nations. Obviously, the Four Nations was a huge success. Olympic hockey is a little different because you're going to play multiple countries and there are going to be some lopsided games. But at the end of the day, you're going to have four top teams playing for the semifinals and for the gold. And do you worry about injuries? Yes, because every year we have players that have gotten hurt. You saw it at the Four Nations. Some teams lost guys for the rest of the year. But the positives outweigh the negatives. And, you know, we're fortunate to have two players going, but for the NHL to go back, this is what the players wanted. The Olympics is something, though, that it's going to be the best competition outside of the Stanley Cup that we're going to witness in hockey.
A guy that never really got the vacation on the Olympic break was you, Rick. What do you hear from the players? And, you know, you've experienced it, so you knew the excitement when you were playing. How much did the players want to get back into this tournament?
Yeah, I think a lot. Obviously, the last one being 2014, you've almost skipped a generation of players that haven't got a chance to play for their country at best on best with the Olympics. So players are excited. Like Don said, it's the next best thing to the Stanley Cup Finals. You know, when you think about being a kid and playing hockey, you know, on the street or on the road, you know, you always dream about Game 7 in the Stanley Cup, but you also dream about wearing your country colors and scoring that overtime goal or whatever it might be. And I'm so happy for the game of hockey that we have NHLers going back to the Olympics.
Isn't it funny how you spend all this time working alongside people like Rick, and you're in the same office and you're on the same team, and then all of a sudden the Olympics come. He's going to want one team to win, you're going to want another team to win, and it's going to be a friendly kind of rivalry.
You know, I just hope it gets to that point because, you know, there's other good countries that are in this tournament. You know, Sweden and Finland, the Czechs will be good. You know, that U.S. and Canada get that opportunity to meet because the way it's set up right now, unfortunately, they're not in the same side, so they might not even play, and hopefully they play. It's in the final game, not the semifinal game.
What you have to remember about Olympic hockey is it's one game. One game makes a difference. You know, whether it's the round robin, whether it gets to the elimination rounds. In the playoffs, you got 7 games to figure it out, and you can kind of feel the momentum of a series or of a game. But when you get to Olympic hockey and international hockey, it's different. You have to be ready right from that puck drop because every game is almost like a Game 7, and that's what's going to make it so much fun to watch.
I've got to ask you, and especially you, Don, as being a former GM of an Olympic team, when the selection process was going on, how much attention were you paying to that? Not just from the fact that you're going to have a player playing or two players playing in the Olympics, but just the curiosity as far as how teams might build their rosters.
Yeah, 100%, because, you know, you got to remember, you're not building an all-star team. You got to build a team that can defend, kill penalties. So, you know, some good players are left off on both sides. You need 4 lines, you know, 6 defensemen that can not only score goals, but defend against goals. So it's always fun to watch it and project what you think is going to happen.
Rick, when you played and the Olympics came up, did you ever worry you weren't going to make the Olympic team?
Yeah, for sure. That's one of your goals. You know, during an Olympic year, you want to be one of the best players for your country and make the team. You know, I had cases where I didn't make the World Cup team for Canada, and that's just the reality of having a bad year. But during an Olympic year, it's always in the back of your head.
Did you ever think he wouldn't make the Olympic team when he was playing?
I was hoping he wouldn't make it because you know, I was on the other side. So I mean, how many gold medals you have between World Championships and Olympics?
Yeah. 2 Olympics and only 1 Worlds. Funny enough.
That's
yeah,
interesting.
Only
yeah.
1.
Well, our food has arrived here at Butcher and Rose. And Rick, what'd you get?
So I went with the Wagyu burger. It was a tough decision. There were so many good things on the menu here. Big burger guy, so I thought I'd give it a try here.
Don, what do you have?
Since I just ate here the other night, I had Wagyu steak the other night, so I went with the chicken today with the Caesar salad, and the carrots here are off the charts. If you make it here, when you make it here, you gotta go with the carrots.
Well, I looked at the menu and I thought, what can I get here that I don't normally get? And I saw the lobster roll. Usually they're great, and I expect this one's going to be fantastic. So that's what I decided to go with here today. All right, well, we can start digging in as we continue our conversation. When you get into your second Olympics, it's not big. It's absolutely huge, right? I mean, Vancouver, playing for Team Canada, with all that pressure.
It was like you had the weight of the world on your shoulders, to be honest. You know, as international hockey picks up, every country wants to win a gold medal, no question. But in Canada, the pressure's there that gold is the only color.
Gold medal game in that Olympics, US, Canada, tied late, going to overtime. You talked about the pressure you guys felt going into the tournament itself, but when you're sitting on that bench and that you're getting to that point, what's the feeling like?
The nerves were huge. I mean, to think to come that far and be a minute and 23 or whatever it was when they tied it and lose a gold medal in your home country, I mean, the nerves were through the roof. But a couple minutes before he scored, I'll never forget, I was coming down the right wing and I pulled up and went on my backhand right to my forehand, and I shot it low blocker on Miller, and I thought it was going in, and I thought I was going to be the hero forever. And I reminded myself that the story was already written that Sid was going to score, but it was incredible.
All right. Hey, before we continue talking here, I want to check in. How's your food, Don? I waited. See, I did it like a waiter. I waited until you started to drink, and then I asked you a question so you could.
Unbelievable. I cut back a little bit on the Caesar salad because it was a big piece of chicken. And of course, I was going to eat my carrots.
Those carrots had no chance with you, by the way.
No, I had no chance. That's where I started. So excellent. Like always, I've been fortunate to be able to visit this fine establishment many times. And once again, not disappointed at all.
Rick, I can tell you didn't like that cheeseburger.
Yeah, the cheeseburger wasn't very good, but I finished it anyways. It was incredible, but I'm not surprised with a Cameron Mitchell restaurant. Wherever you go all over the U.S., I feel like it's a great meal.
All right, before we wrap up our Olympic talk, I just want to ask you a couple more things. The Village, staying in the Village as an athlete. Zach Werenski talked about the fact they're going to do that in Italy. He's really excited about it. What's it like in the Village, Rick?
It's incredible. You know, for Hockey Canada, we had one common room just for the hockey players. Then we had, for Team Canada, the whole, you know, everyone participated, and they had a team room for that. It was always cool to go to the dining halls and see, you know, whether it was an American figure skater or an American speed skater, or in Sochi, I think it was the Canadian or American curlers that kind of, you know, blew up on social media. And then next thing you know, you're sitting beside them. You know, there's people exchanging jackets and you get tons of swag. So, you know, you see something cool that, you know, the Netherlands might have, a bright orange, and you start switching towards the end. So I'm with Zach. I think it's one of the best parts of the Olympics is hanging out in the Village.
Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about your Olympic and international experiences. Really appreciate it. I know the fans really appreciate it as well. And I know you both enjoyed your meals.
Yeah, thanks for taking us to this fine establishment, and thank you for picking up the check for us.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to do it for The Table. Thanks to Don Waddell and Rick Nash for being with me. I'm Bob McElligott. Again, you get a chance to come to downtown Columbus, Butcher and Rose. Check it out. It comes highly recommended by all of us.